Hello, everyone, and welcome to a demo of Advanced HR. Advanced HR is a human capital management system that really allows you to track and manage your employees throughout their life cycle with you. You can do everything from applicant tracking, paperless onboarding, online open enrollment, and also Advanced HR includes employee self-service. And you'll see here on my screen, when I log in, you'll see a dashboard. This is the administrative dashboard where I can see all the to-do items that are awaiting my approval. For example, if an employee has requested a W-4 change, they can do that through self-service. I can view that change and approve it, and it will update the system. I can also approve a direct deposit request, and I can also see employees that have completed their electronic new hire packets through our paperless onboarding. I can click here and review those and approve those, and it pushes that new hire into the system. I also can complete the Section 2 of the I-9s through here as well. To the right, you'll see event-based reminders such as birthdays, anniversary reminders for your employees. You'll also see in Advanced HR the ability to track certificates and licenses. And these reminders that you see here can also trigger email alerts and notifications to whoever you want those notifications to go to, the employee, of course, their supervisor, etc. We also have the ability to track reviews and upcoming reviews and reminders for those in the system. And in the center, you'll see here the company announcements. In the company announcement area, you can really leverage your self-service to promote, employee engagement by keeping your employees informed of what's going on in the company. You can put news and announcements here. You could put links to other websites as well, photographs or videos here for your employees to see in their self-service. To the right, you'll also see this green button. If your company is using our Asure time and attendance solution for your employees to clock in on the web or clock in on their mobile app or on a physical time clock, then you'll be able, as the administrator, to click here and access the Asure time and attendance dashboard. So you can come to this dashboard now and you can see a real-time in and out board. You can approve your employees' time cards. You can see any leave requests they've made through the system, and you can also update their schedules if needed. So that capability is here as well. Now let's move into the navigation for Advanced HR. That takes place in the navigation bar on the left side of your screen. And when you come here for the first time, you'll see that we have populated your employee payroll information. You see in the employee maintenance area, these tabs are ordered alphabetically. So in here, you can see all of your employees. In the employee summary area, you get a quick snapshot here of a listing of all your employees, and you can drill down into each of these to see more information. But just a little bit about the navigation on this screen. I can sort up and down on these screens. I can also click by anything like employee ID number to sort, or even hire date. And when I come in here, if I just want to download and jumpstart an Excel spreadsheet, I can do that as well. But most importantly, you have all of your employee payroll information that will set up, for example, compensation. This is where you'll see your employees' hourly or salary rates. And you can see here, I have a listing very similar. I can sort as well here, or I can just look for one employee. So when I come in here and I look for one employee, you'll see everyone's starting rate of pay. And that will be one line that you'll see like this. But over time in the system, anytime you make a change, you'll see history to start to develop going forward. So to change someone's pay rate, I can just simply click New. I see I have Stephen here, and we can effective date that pay rate. We can indicate a rate of pay here, and we can also add an optional change reason. So this little blue plus sign, anytime you see one of these, is going to allow you to create your own pick list and make that your own in your company. And like I said, as you go through your employee goes through their tenure with you, you'll see it starts to develop a history in here. We'll have your employees' direct deposit information stored here as well, so you'll be able to see all of your employees. I can see if you have employees that have multiple rates of pay for different jobs, the alternate rate tab is where we'll store that. We can also handle auto labor distribution if you need to allocate someone's time on a fixed basis every payroll without having to worry about that. We can track child supports as well. We can also set up your time off accrual plans in the system so that we can track your PTO, vacation, sick, and you can see those balances. Also, your scheduled deductions, we can set up any medical, vision, dental, 401k, any recurring deduction that you need to track. We'll set that up and you'll have access to that in here as well. And of course, the tax settings, federal, state, you'll see all of your employees' federal tax settings in here. And you will have full access to this employee maintenance to make any changes and updates anytime you need. But probably the first thing you will do in the system is run a payroll. So let's quickly go in and show you how easy it is to run a payroll in Advanced HR. When you click into the payroll tab, you'll see payroll again, and this is where your calendar is stored. So you will see your payroll calendar, whether it's biweekly, weekly, semi-monthly, and we'll populate that for you. And to view that on the screen, you'll just look here and see we have a series of payrolls. And in my demo, you see here, we've already processed a few payrolls this year. So we never purge this information. You'll always have access to once you start using the system, you'll always have access to previously processed payrolls. If you need to add an off-cycle payroll, maybe this payroll is not on your calendar, you can always do that here. But to start a payroll, you'll just click the Run button. It will take you right into the next step, which is your batch step. And you'll notice at the top of the screen, the system is going to take you through the 4 steps to doing payroll. This is a cover sheet where I can see all of my default settings here. I can click Create Checks to take me to the next step. When I go to the next step, several things are happening. If you're using our Asure time and attendance system, you can see that it's pulling in from the timesheet all the hours worked. This is our sync, we call it our payroll sync, where the data is syncing from Asure time into the columns that you see here. You'll also see that the system has automatically populated your salaries from your master file. It's also populated your scheduled recurring deductions for medical, vision, dental, etc. And as you look at this grid, you'll see it's columnar in setup here. Over on the left, you'll see I can sort this if I have quite a bit of data that I want to see in a certain order. I can sort up and down by name. I could sort by employee number. And you can also order this information. I can come down here to the right where it says Edit Columns, and I can order and format my pay grid to configure it so that it will be this way the next time I come in. And you'll see on the left all of the codes that we'll set up for your company. Now, in my demo, I have quite a bit of variety here, but you'll have your own unique codes that you'll see: regular, overtime, holiday, sick, etc. And you'll be able to click any of these. For example, if I wanted to add bonus to my grid so that I could key that monthly bonus, etc., I could add that to my grid, and now I've got a place to come in here and key my dollars directly in here. If I wanted to do a second check and not put that bonus in the same check, I could click here and click Add Check and add a second check. You can also type directly into these grids, as you see here, the hours. So if you're not using Asure time and attendance, you could certainly come in here and add the hours directly into the grid yourself by just keying those. We also have the ability to do a time import. So if you have a spreadsheet, maybe a commission spreadsheet, You can put that in our format and import that directly in here. Or maybe you're using a time system that is a third-party time system, and you could export a file from that system. And then as long as that file can be formatted into our import format, you could import that directly into your grid and save time on that manual data entry. So the next step that you'll see here is the total step. So once you're happy with your grid, you click the total step, and here you can see on the left, we have those same columns, but they're in a vertical look. So I could click into any of these and further double check my data entry. You can also see we have a pre-process button. You can also run a pre-process here and double check your information in a gross to net report. So let's click the pre-process button, and you'll see that it says we are pre-processing. That information will come up on your screen and you'll be able to view that. And when the pre-process finishes, you'll see on your screen, we have on the left our gross pay items. On the right, we have our tax calculations. And you can see we handle all the federal, state, local taxes for you. You can view this information again. You can look at the payroll register to see all that information on paper if you'd like. And then you can move to the next step. On the finish step, you're going to click the finish button, and then that is where we will take over processing your payroll. We will process all of your direct deposits, your checks. We will also process any child supports or garnishments that you have. We will make all those tax deposits and handle all those tax filings for you, quarterly, year end, and we'll also produce payroll reports for this payroll. We can email those securely to you, but we'll always put a copy of those payroll reports in the payroll report area to the left. And I'll be able to click into that payroll report area and see those reports. And we have several types of reports. We have the defined reports, the published, and the ad hoc. Now, the published reports are those that are going to be pushed out to you every payroll and stored here. You can get to any of these and view them online. So I could come in and look at a labor distribution report and preview that report on my screen. I can also look at a defined report, and the defined reports are really on-demand reports that you can filter however you wish. For example, you'll see some of the reports that I have in my demo here. And just a little note about this, we have a lot of standard reports in our system, and we can set up which reports you need for your industry. For example, if you need a workers' comp report, we have a standard workers' comp report. We also have, if you're someone that needs job costing, we have job costing reports. We have restaurant reports. We even have certified payroll reports, both federal and state, in our system. So you will see the reports here that have been set up for you, and you can click on any of these to configure and filter a report. So if you have your accountant that maybe needs to access the full year of reports, you can go across pay periods and run a report. Or you could go back once you start using our system. We'll never purge this history. So you could run a report, let's say a workers' comp report, all the way back from September 1 to current. You can apply those dates, and then you can run or access any of those reports in the system here. You can filter by employee. So if you wanted to run a report for 5 months for one employee, you could. You could filter by org level. And in our system, we have division, branch, department, team. You could run reports by those org levels. And then once you run these reports, you can view those and print those, etc., to your screen, or print those to paper if you'd like. You'll also see on the left, we have an ad hoc report writer. So if you ever want to write your own reports, you can drill down to the individual fields in the system and create your own report with different columns and export that as well. On the left, you'll see a check calculator. This is a what if calculator that you can use if an employee comes to you and requests, what if I change my exemptions from this to this? You could run a what if report to see what that net payroll would be. You can also do a gross up calculation in here as well to gross up pay. So now that we've taken a look at payroll, let's take a look at how you can recruit and hire through the system. We're going to go over to the applicant tracking area. And within the system, the applicant tracking already has an electronic application already built, but you can add your own questions to that application. For example, you can add a yes, no question, fill in the blank, multiple choice, very simply by clicking new and adding any number of questions to your question bank and really customize your application. You can set up as many application versions this way as you need. So you could have an accounting manager version with accounting questions. You could have a sales version with sales questions. And then when you get ready to post a job, you click the job posting and you can create a new job posting as I have here. You can indicate the job description, and then you could tell the system, I want this particular accounting manager applicant to complete which version of the application. So I can click accounting manager version with those accounting questions. At the very bottom, the system will ask you, are there other people that need to be kept in the loop? Maybe a hiring manager or an outside recruiter even that needs to be kept in the loop on this job posting. You can add additional folks into this process. And then what the system does is create this hyperlink, and this will allow you to click here and place this link anywhere you'd like. You could place it on your company website. Click here to apply for this job, or you could place it in the body of your Indeed or Monster posting. You could even email this to someone. If someone came to the front door and said, are you hiring? Sure, what's your email address? I'll send you a link to our application. And so when the applicant clicks into that hyperlink or that URL, they'll be taken directly into your application here. Now, when the applicant applies for that job using your electronic application, then you'll be notified via email alert, and the other hiring managers or anyone you've linked to that application will also be alerted that there is something to review in the applicant tracking dashboard. So here you'll see our dashboard. And again, when I come here, I can see all the people that have applied for the job. I can see the date and time that they applied for the job. I see what job it is as well. And I can click directly into that applicant to see all of their information. So I see this is what the applicant sees. They're completing the profile with their military and vet information here. They're seeing the employment history information. They're also seeing the education history, the keyword. This is an area that you can create your own pick list of what you're looking for when you create this version of the application. And you can have that applicant click on and build their own resume or their skills inventory, if you will. Then of course, they can also upload their resume, their cover letter, etc. So once they have done that, then you're able to use these buttons on the left to move that applicant through the process. I can come in here to this green button, and I can see that we have several different workflows that we can take this applicant through. And you can customize this. These are the workflows that come with the system, but if you want to add steps or remove steps from the standard workflow, you can do that. But for example, when I'm reviewing the applicant, I can come in here and make a note about this applicant and the review that I've done and mark them that I've reviewed them. And then when I get ready to schedule an interview, I could schedule an interview from here. This will actually email the applicant the information about the interview. This will also email any of those other folks that you have tagged in the company, like the hiring manager or the third-party recruiter. I can also make my interview notes in here and mark the interview complete. I can enter the make offer area. I can upload a copy of the offer that I've completed and attach that to an offer email. And the applicant can accept that offer from that email. And then when they do, you'll get an offer accepted alert or email notification that lets you know they've accepted the offer. And at that point, then you can take that applicant to the next step, which is prep for onboarding. And we'll talk more about that. But this will allow an email to be sent to that applicant and giving them access to complete their paperless onboarding. So let's take a look further at this dashboard, and you'll see that I have another green button I can click where I can see the notes of everything that's happened to this applicant. I can see everything about Jane, can see anything that she's uploaded during the process. The system will create an application and for you based on what they entered that you could print off if you wanted to print that off. And I can see all the different steps of that process and any notes that anyone made. So that is the applicant tracking dashboard. Now, let's take a look at how to set up an onboarding, electronic onboarding, so that when this applicant is hired, you can flow them right into that onboarding step. And we're going to do that over here in the onboarding area. Now, our onboarding is already built in this system. We already have the process built, but you can, with the I-9 is built, the W-4 is in the system. We already have the direct deposit authorization built in the system, but you can upload any additional company documents in the company area. So you'll be able to come in the system, you'll be able to click company documents here, upload any company documents such as handbooks, anything you want the new hire to sign off on during the onboarding process. It could be a handbook, a company policy, etc. And you can mark in our system e-signature. So you can mark that document for e-signature required. Just a little side note, you can also in our system turn on this little envelope that would allow you to push that same new hire policy, that same handbook or policy out to existing employees. So through our system, we not only have electronic signature for onboarding documents, but any of those documents can also be pushed out through this area to self-service so existing employees can sign off on e-sign documents as well. So let's talk about onboarding. When you click into onboarding, you'll see the ability to create, again, your own question bank. And through this question bank, you can create as many versions of the new hire packet as you will. I can create a sales version that might have a non-compete agreement in it to be signed, and I could set up a corporate office version that's not sales. That's with different documents to sign. Real quickly in here, when you create this, it takes just a few seconds to set this up. You can turn on any of the features that are included in our onboarding. For example, I can click, I want to include company documents, and I can upload, and you'll see all those documents that you uploaded here, those company documents like your handbook, and you could pull in those handbooks into your experience. At the top here, you can see I can also put custom instructions that ask that new hire to upload their driver's license or their voided check here. And you'll see how that looks in a minute. I can add custom questions from the question bank, and I can put a welcome message as well as a thank you for completing your onboarding message. So the way this works, when I get ready to hire someone, then I can, from this point forward, everything's set up. All I have to do to hire someone is click the onboarding prep, and I can come in here and I can say, I'm getting ready to hire a W-2 employee. They're going to be an accounting manager, and I want them to complete which new hire packet. So they could complete the sales one or the operations one, but you indicate which packet to complete. The system will automatically increment the next employee number, and you'll just say, let's begin onboarding. This will take you to a prep screen where you'll enter some pieces of information like their employee email address, their starting pay, and some other identifying position information. And the system will take the new hire to an email that looks like this. So it will email them with a link, and then they'll be able to click on that link and move on with their onboarding. So I can click here to begin onboarding as the new hire. They'll see my welcome message. I can move through to the employee profile. Now, remember, if you're using applicant tracking, you're flowing that applicant directly into onboarding. And so the applicant would have already completed their profile. But when I come in here again as the new hire, I could maybe update any information that is changed since I applied. Like I may have moved into town to take this job, so I can update that. I can also see any tax elections for state. I can make those. I can have an emergency contact section. I can enroll in direct deposit, up to 3 direct deposits here, and then I can indicate what type of account it is and how much I want to go to each account, and then click yes to authorize my employer. I see the W-4, and if your employees have difficulty with understanding the W-4, we put a link to the IRS website here so they can see that as well. I can also move through to the next step, which is your I-9. I can see the I-9 within the system and complete that. So we have the federal I-9. The most current version is always out here. You'll see instructions, both English and Spanish. I can click my false statement acknowledgement and sign off on this. And this is the section 1. What it's doing behind the scenes on all these forms is completing that form within the system. I see the background check authorization as well that can be used. And then the company documents. So the employee can view all those company documents that you've put out here. If they require e-signature, the system will require a signature. And you can see here, I've already signed this one, so it marks it as finished. And now I can save and continue to the next step. I see custom questions. These can be, of course, yes, no, fill in the blank, multiple choice questions. You know, I can have questions like t-shirt size. A lot of folks want to capture uniforms. They want to capture that information. And here's a nice feature that allows the employee to upload a copy of their driver's license or their voided check back into the system. And so this will store those documents in document storage, so you'll have that without having to capture that and make copies yourself. So again, you'll have the onboarding complete. Now, when the new hire completes this, you'll get notification. So you may not be logged in the system, but you'll get an email alert that says, hey, that new hire just completed their onboarding. So now as I go back into the system as the administrator, I see in my onboarding dashboard, I can monitor the status and the progress of all the onboardings that I have going on. So in my dashboard here, you see I have some step 1s. These folks we've sent the email to, but they haven't started. These folks have started, but they haven't completed. So any of these, I can click an envelope here to resend a reminder email to those employees that have not finished. And then at the very bottom, you'll see this person has completed the onboarding. I can click their name to open up the entire onboarding packet, review all the documents that have been pre-signed by the system, etc. And I can click approve to move that new hire into the system. So what it does, it moves that new hire from the onboarding section here all the way into employee maintenance. It will move that employee into the payroll master. It will drop in their information about their direct deposit that they included. It will drop in the compensation that you loaded up when you were defining that position. It will drop in all of their tax settings, their W-4 that they included as well. And most importantly, it will also drop in to documents employ all of those signed electronic documents. So I can go here and see our document storage that's included in Advanced HR. So what you see here, I probably have 2,000 or 3,000 documents in here, and I can access these documents several different ways. I can come in and I can search for a document just by putting a keyword to find that document name and see those as well. Or I could come to the top in the employee search area and I can search for a document by employee name. So again, I can look at Stephen's documents, and when I do this, I see all the documents that he completed in onboarding, but the system has also, because he used the applicant tracking, it's also gone back and pulled in all of his applicant tracking documents. So it can literally go back automatically and pull in all those things from applicant tracking all the way through onboarding and include those here. Now at the very top, I can go up to Stephen and I can back away from Stephen and see all employees. This is also very convenient if you want to upload documents that are in your paper file cabinet. In your office, if you have documents typically in a traditional paper file cabinet, you could decide to come in to the Add Document button, scan those documents, and upload those here so that now you have a backup of all of your documents, your HR documents, and you truly have online document storage that you can access anywhere you have web access. So now that we've uploaded those documents, now we can go in and we can see more information about this employee. So now that we have the employee in the system, we can now come to the left and you'll see many HR related tabs in the system. You'll see things like tracking certificates as well as licenses. So in Advanced HR, if you have employees that you need to track licenses for or certificates, you can add those in here by clicking New. And you can see here, I've got quite a few licenses for my employees in the system. I can click Filter to search for any particular license. So if I'm looking for all of my CNAs that have CNA license, I can search the database and find all my CNAs. And when I click into Stephen's license, you can see that Stephen has a CNA license. And again, you'll be able to customize your own pick list with your particular licenses. You may have food handler's license or beverage handling licenses. Any type of license that you track, you can indicate the license number, who it was issued by, and most importantly, the expiration date. Because remember, we have event reminders in the system that are going to remind the employee as well as anyone else that's tagged in their dashboard about an upcoming event due date. So you'll see all those expirations. You'll also be able to attach any copy of your license or certificates. You'll also be able in the system to track who's had certain classes and enroll those people in certain classes. You can have a list of all of your classes in the system, and then you can use the system to click on those classes and enroll those employees. So if I have a new hire and I want to enroll them in the safety class, I can click and find that new hire by just filtering at the top. I can click yes beside their name, and this will automatically email that new hire a reminder about that class, reminding them about the class, and I can have attachments in their self-service site for them to get to course handouts and any other supporting documents. And then when they're finished with that class, I can record the grade and any notes, and it will post all that class information into their individual class information. So again, I can search for one employee and I can see all the classes they have completed, and the system has posted those completions from that Rapid Enroll tab. I also have the ability in the system to track things like performance-related items under reviews. So if I want to track someone's upcoming 30-day review, let me go in there and do that. I can click, I'm going to back away from Stephen. I can see all of my employees that are in progress. And again, I could sort and see who's scheduled, etc. But I can come in here to new, and I can create for a particular new hire an upcoming review reminder. So I will be able to create my own review types. You can see I have a lot of review types that I've created in my demo, but I can schedule a 30-day review. I can schedule that in the future with a particular supervisor. So the supervisor will now get notification reminder. The employee will get a reminder, and I can schedule that 30 days out, and that will go out automatically. And then when they're finished with that, I can document that it's finished, the rating, and any notes that I want to place in here. I can also set up a template to remind the supervisor what I want them to ask in that review. And then I can click here, browse, to upload any supporting documentation. But I remind people in this review area that you can do other things. As a company, you may want to document this, all items related to performance. For example, for Stephen, we have tracked everything from a positive customer letter we received to maybe a critical conversation. So you can enter those conversations in the system and track that those things happen where we talk to Stephen about tardiness and attitude, etc. So now that we've talked about onboarding the applicant tracking, onboarding the employee, recording some additional information in these tabs, Let's talk a little about what that new hire will do then related to benefits. Because in the system, we have the ability to set up and automate the open enrollment, the annual open enrollment process. I can click here under benefits and I can see that all my plans can be set up here. So you can go into the system and define all of your benefit plans. For example, if you have a dental plan, you can set your dental plan up here. You can see that that dental plan has a cost structure. So you can see all the rate structure here. How much is the employee portion or the employer portion for each of my coverage types? You can upload documents that go with that particular benefit as well. But most importantly, you're going to see that this dental benefit is keeping the dental deduction updated in payroll. So the advantage of using the system is that the employees can use their self-service to go through open enrollment. And then I can monitor the open enrollment here and see the status of open enrollment and see who started, who has not started, and who's finished. So when I go here, I'll see all my employees, who started, who has not started. And then when this enrollment is complete, you can click a button to push all this information into the payroll schedule deductions that will happen automatically based on an effective date. So I hope you have enjoyed this demo of Advanced HR. This concludes our demo. Thank you.